With all of you, John Gaeta and Aaron Mok.
Hello. How's everyone doing? Good. My name is Aaron Mok, and I'm a freelance journalist. I write about AI and its impact on work and society. You can find some of my bylines in The Guardian, Business Insider, IEEE Spectrum, and other outlets. I'm super excited to be joined today by John Gaeta, an Academy Award-winning designer and innovator who spent his career pushing the boundaries of storytelling using technology. John is best known for his work in the Matrix trilogy, where he pioneered visual effects like bullet time, which won an Oscar for Best Visual Effects. Since then, he's led a slew of creative innovation for companies like Lucasfilm, where he was the co-founder of ILM X Lab, the immersive entertainment studio of the company. He was the SVP of creative strategy at Magic Leap, and the Chief Creative Officer at Inward AI, which was founded by ex-Google DeepMind researchers. Now, today, he's the founder and CEO of Escape AI, a content distribution platform for neo-cinematic films. John, thank you for being here.
Thank you. Fabulous to be here.
So today we're going to talk about neo-cinema and how it's ushering in a new wave of filmmakers and creators looking to tell stories beyond the Hollywood system. Neo-cinema is a genre that John coined, referring to movies created with cutting-edge technologies like game engines and now generative AI. But before we get into all of that, I want to go back in time, starting with your early days in Hollywood. The Matrix trilogy was a huge success and arguably some of the most iconic movies in cinematic history. But over time, you said that traditional Hollywood started to feel limiting in creativity. Take us inside the Hollywood machine. What started to feel restrictive, and how did that inspire you to build something like Escape AI?
Well, I mean, it's always difficult to figure out, the magic formula to get a creative vision on any kind of screen in almost any format. I'm sure everyone here has some experience. It's complex to do big movies, television shows, video games, and so there's a relationship that's required between the backers, facilitators, distributors, and the creators that are, in a sense, in a discussion with them about how much of this vision is going to make it. And so that there are many stories about whether that goes well or not. And often, the determination, there's trust involved and resources required. So, back in the days when I was working in that version of Hollywood, we were working with some relatively different ideas, fairly radical approaches that we were considering using. And so with that is excitement, two edges of a sword, excitement and high risk. And so the goal, I guess, at that time would be, for a lot of the creators, would be to try to shield the collaborative group that's trying to bring this vision forward from folks that would feel that their investments are being jeopardized by this risk. And that can turn into an interesting relationship and dynamic as you attempt to create first-of-kind things, sort of in the shadow of this watching, sort of presence. So what I would say is from that time, and so that's a really nice way of saying that it was very, very difficult to make movies like that, and it has never stopped being that difficult. And in fact, I would say it's become even more difficult now, whether it's movies or highly innovative series or revolutionary games. that the risk aversion, the fear, the outright fear of gatekeepers on the jeopardizing the investment and all of that stuff. It's just become much more intense over the years, and we see a kind of a strangely wintry environment right now in old Hollywood.
Mm-hmm. And so for people just hearing about Escape AI, how would you describe it? And how is it helping creators who want to build something and create films beyond the Hollywood system?
So it was born out of this idea that, again, there are many remarkable people around the world, creators, that deserve exposure and have everything that it takes to have a complementary and supportive fan base and or relationships with these fans, but they have an immensely difficult journey ahead. So if you want to walk the hot coals all the way up to a huge streamer like an HBO or a Netflix, this can be a multi-year journey even for the brightest and most experienced creators, and often even that journey ends up with a loss of control, potentially if you created the IP yourself. As a writer, a lot of times you will have that peeled right off of you, and then you will be given the pennies you need to almost kill yourself to make this. But of course, it's your passion, so you do it if you got there. So the other path is what many folks also know is, okay, well, in the new world, we can turn to massive social media platforms, YouTube and Instagram and the like, and where there's no barrier, but it is a virtual sea of billions of pieces of media, and it is a bit of a discovery nightmare. And so, over here, up here in the super streamer, you have gatekeepers of one kind, and then over in this other area, as much as in fact, I use YouTube like everyone else all the time, but you wind up bending to the algorithm, and then often find yourself adjacent to many irrelevant things. So you're not even in a neighborhood of like types, and certainly if you're making things that are of high value, passion, and all of these things, it can be a very frustrating experience. And I didn't describe anything new to anybody, like everybody in this audience knows these two things. So, in summary, we wanted to make something that sort of fused this prestigious presentation with the sort of agile social media utilities, right? We wanted to put those two things together, and we wanted to build this as a vessel for radical new forms of entertainment. Mm-hmm. So Neo Cinema is not just Gen AI, but it's creators who have empowered themselves through all sorts of emergent technology to actually create, to get their visions, short or long, right, out. And so we want to be a place that's not only a safe destination, but a really remarkable and amazing destination to find best in class of that.
For sure. Yeah, it kind of sounds like Escape AI is for creators who want to get the work out there, but can't access traditional modes of distribution with the Hollywood system and everything. What I thought was unique about it is kind of its focus on neo cinema. And what really surprised me looking at the platform was the sheer amount of content on it. What kinds of projects are you seeing take shape on the platform, and how is that building a community of neo cinema creators?
So, we literally just decided to make ourselves known a few months back, March 1st. We've been in a quiet alpha for 9 months to a year, really working on how the experience for creators to bring in their works, sort of build identity, a beautiful identity in the form of a channel. What we do is we curate people, right? We don't try to find pieces of media. We look for people who seem to be very bright and have great promise just because of the ideas. So this will be a theme here, like that our interest is not necessarily just showing proofs of concepts, but actually sort of getting behind people that seem to be rising in the power of their ideas and storytelling. And it's a direct relationship to the empowerment of this technology, though, right? That this technology, which we all know, so a year and a half ago, we're seeing proofs, prototypes, experiments, and workflow. There are a smaller number of pioneers, leading-edge pioneers, that are going in and making first-of-kind proofs. And we've seen it evolve across to where we are today, which is right at the precipice and inflection point of a good number of these people through iteration and collaboration actually being able to produce genuinely high-value storytelling, world building, all sorts of things. And yeah, this inflection point is what we've actually always intended. We assumed this was going to happen. And so now the kinds of projects we see are real projects, right? We will see very well thought out. Yeah, we're working at a fast, iterative pace, but they are well thought out, getting better and better in terms of script writing, character development, again, world building. So we see, let's call it like, we're in this sort of proto Love, Death, and Robots kind of mode here, where if Love, Death, and Robots was a good example of films, I call them films, but really, whether it's series or episodics or whatever, but stories of a certain length, of a certain quality and caliber of writing and world building, we're like right there, verging on that in both screen time and quality, in my view, but not like Love, Death, and Robots. They are really, we are really seeing a transcendent departure in terms of the number of original ideas that are starting to appear. So these projects are feeling unique as like things that we haven't seen before, or maybe not all, but many. And so, yeah, we have something new on our hands. And the nature of the projects reflect this coming inflection point.
Yeah, it seems like neo-cinema is the type of movie that anybody could create, with just having the right technologies and the tools. And that's what's so powerful.
Technically, but intellectually, we will see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it all comes down to the creativity and the ideas. So AI-powered creative tools have become a lot more accessible over the last year, making it easier than ever for anyone to start creating. Generative AI is making that process even easier. What excites you the most about the usage of AI in filmmaking, and what's making this moment feel special for filmmakers and creators?
Yeah, I mean, there's many things going on at the same time. We're celebrating almost a point of arrival where we can create a coherent, polished, complete piece of work, right, of whatever length. It's still missing some likely very important other elements, which there are a number of people now really working on, which include putting more humans in the loop, right, and potentially, not only simulating human emotion for character performance, but actually bringing it in and evolving it and all of these things. So there's actually a pretty remarkable year ahead, I think, for that more integration of high-value human elements. But I think that, the thing that is most important here is the empowerment part. And so we have like this strange entropy thing going on where you have an old system that used to produce phenomenal, beautiful things all the time with regularity that is heading towards some kind of like systemic shock. And so you see less and less and less original ideas because of this risk aversion, right? It's the financial stakes and the complexity. And then suddenly a new thing arrives that, again, while maybe you would not compare something, shot photographically in, 1967 with Gen AI today, here, though, lies the means for people to actually get their original ideas out, which is unprecedented, at least for quite a long time. So what does that mean? That suddenly is unlocking globally a new movement of original voices to come about, right, around the globe. So I think it's I love technology. I have relationships with absolutely amazing people who do all sorts of things there. But the thing that's so different is people actually able to produce these stories and ideas, and they're growing and growing, and they are not landlocked to one particular region. They're not just wealthy Californians.
Yeah.
They are literally around the globe, and so we're seeing really unique things starting to appear. And along with that is a connection amongst themselves, so they also feel connected because they know what's going on, right? I'm speaking about something that most people in the room already know about, right? So, so there is this new form community, and it's absolutely a global happening, which is very good for the world. And so we're going to see as probably the top value of these times is this sort of new class. New voices. And lastly, I'll just put one more thing on that, it is not really a movement of folks that we don't know or want to know that are new, but there is a huge constrained, bubbled up class of creators that have essentially been caught in a system where they can no longer do what they love. So the entropy part is that there's going to, be a convergence, the same like-minded people. I was working with these tools over here. I can't do this that much anymore. Here's a new path. We're going to see a convergence of the brightest, and that's what this year and next year, we're going to see a lot of.
Yeah, super excited for that. There's been lots of conversation lately about AI's role in the creation of art. We've seen everything from AI-generated images in the style of Studio Ghibli, all the way to AI action figures. These are some cases that are worrying some artists who fear about the safety of their jobs. But at Escape, you seem to be taking a different approach to this. How do you see AI as a tool, as a way to expand creative freedom and empower artists to do something different?
Yes, I mean, I think it would be not realistic to acknowledge that there's two sides of a sword. A long time ago, I used to work in the visual effects industry, and that was sort of, it really began when computer graphics started getting, plausibly integrated into movie making. Before visual effects, people used to make most of and shoot locations. They would shoot and make all of their solutions. And visual effects, as extraordinary as it's been, disrupted all of that came before. And it's, gone on, and sort of the movie industry, TV, evolved as it did. New technologies like real-time graphics, game engines, all sorts of new things actually, to some degree, started to just disrupt the visual effects industry, and now, again, generative AI. And yes, it is, never fun to go through the transition of technology, but it can't be stopped once it begins. But how would I put it? I'm more interested with Escape not reinventing a cheap way to make visual effects to, race to the bottom for, corporate movie making. I'm interested in people actually staying independent, owning what they make, right, and not being interfered with the producing of their visions. And so Escape at the moment, we're at early stages, but it is absolutely a vessel for people to rise and be independent and not be constrained.
So there's nothing to worry about.
There's plenty to worry about. I have countless friends and colleagues, that are craftspeople, true craftspeople. But the way I look at it is they have intrinsic insights as to what they what the outcomes should be.
Yeah.
They understand quality outcomes, and they also understand the end user, the audience. They understand a lot of things that give them advantages as they apply these tools, and they amplify themselves. They super amplify themselves.
So looking ahead, AI tools are becoming more powerful and democratized. And as the saying goes, AI at its current state is going to be the worst it ever is. You just kind of described this moment as a new golden age of storytelling. What does that golden age look like to you, and where do you see filmmaking going within the next few years?
It's coming. We're at the very, very leading edge of it. But I really do believe that for some of the reasons I mentioned before, if you think about the last golden age, it was a free, feeling time where there were many diverse experiments in cinema and storytelling and everything. Everything was new. Everything was an open sort of, field. And the only thing that's closed that down is the massive business of entertainment, streaming, and all of that sort of stuff. I say that, while also, clearly is sort of admitting that I love some things that are happening still in this limited, narrow band that we have left. But the golden age has to do with seeing all of those stories, ideas, and meeting those creators and people that we were prevented from meeting before. Not just meeting them, but okay, not the dark side, but a tricky thing for everyone to navigate, which is why Escape cares about curation, is that in what will also be enabled are, potentially billions of people producing media and just filling up all of the platforms with noise. And so it's very important to find, beautiful things and things of value, and try to connect that with audiences and all of that stuff. The golden age is going to be about this enablement thing, but there will also be a golden age in terms of new stories, new ideas, quality. I really believe all of that stuff. It's a stone's throw away. It really is. It's not years from now. And I think that we're all seeing sort of a zeitgeist moment coming in the not too distant future.
And where do you see Escape AI playing in this role for this golden age of storytelling?
We want to be the most prestigious, premier destination. I'll say that word because you can not only watch things in Escape, you can go inside of Escape and watch things with people. So it's built for contemporary people, people who feel very comfortable in gaming in game worlds as much as they are with movies. But we want to be a 21st century entertainment, service. And we want to have relationships with everybody who's on it. We're not interested in being a cold catalog, cold server, or any of those sorts of things. We love the community part. We love the tech, even though we don't fly it out in front, because you really shouldn't do that. It should be about magic. But yeah, Escape. We want Escape to be a place with a heart like that and be the best, where you can find the best.
Amazing. We have some time for questions from the audience. So if anyone has any questions, there's a mic over there. So feel free to go up. There's a mic here too. Yeah.
So I guess my question is this going to be some sort of a VR theater? Where you can go and just
So no, it's not. It's not. You can do it in VR, but it's not. We're not promoting it as a VR thing. So basically, you should go to since we didn't really show you much of the platform. If you go to escape.ai, you will know right away what it is. You'll see it right away what it is, and it begins as a very traditional and familiar kind of experience, right, where you can see all sorts of offerings, stories, featured stuff. But every single movie that you see, every film you see, when you kind of hover over it, you will see two buttons. One will say play, and you can just go into the, down the rabbit hole of that, or you can hit this other button which says Escape. And if you click on that, you will go and be put right into a three-dimensional spatial web theater, no download, anything like that. And you will be in a theater, and you can watch with up to 20 people. You can, text and talk. You can emote, and things like that. And we have other spaces that people can congregate in anytime, right? So we'll have events in there. We're going to have film festivals. We have a film festival coming up in June based on anime, genime. So basically, yeah. And that theater is actually VR enabled. But I spent many years in VR and mixed reality, and there's a lot left to be done to mainstream, to make that the mainstream. So I have these other friends and colleagues that used to work in the movie business that work in other places like Epic Games, Fortnite, event people, people who invented events in there. And we've taken a few lessons from that, and we want to make it very, very simple to sort of socialize in 3D spaces. So you can go into these theaters as avatars, meet your friends, watch these movies, run off to the side, do whatever you want to do.
Everything would be curated.
Yes, I mean, well, like I said, any movie, literally every movie, like 1,000 movies in Escape, you can go into 1,000 theaters. You can just say, hey, let's go into this movie. And unless we have a special event, and that's curated like the festivals that we're going to start in June.
I'm the author of the Self-Aware Network's Theory of Mind, and I'm going to come back to Matrix that we started out with. You mentioned that, with AI video, Google, maybe it's, you didn't mention Google VO3, but a lot of us are thinking about it. At the rate that AI is advancing, which you're kind of hinting at during your discussion today, are we heading towards a technological singularity, conscious AI? What's going to happen in the next few years? Real-time AI video streaming. There's a whole spectrum of possibilities. What do you think?
Gee whiz. Well, the easy question right at the end. 2 minutes and 58 seconds to explain. Well, look, I am no different than anybody else. Like, I know, right, like, there's bliss and joy using new paintbrushes to create new forms of expressions. And I like to jump into that. And I'm at the same time terrified, of certain other things. So I don't know what to say about that other than what I personally hope is invented is, if AGI comes about, I certainly hope that there's a version of that will be not governed in its motives by corporations, and that maybe, if necessary, can be bonded to us as unconditionally and uncorruptibly to ourselves, so that we can have some kind of protection against such a beast as sort of as AGI. It could be a beast. It could solve intractable problems, and it can maybe cause problems. We all watch sci-fi. The terrible thing, the strange thing about the sci-fi movies we made is that, like, slowly but surely, these things, like, I've been working in sci-fi movies long enough to see the stuff we talked about people doing it. You know what I mean? Like, it's technically plausible to do some of this stuff. So that's scary. That means that almost any sci-fi movie could actually turn out to be true. So I'm trying to take the light side. But I definitely, on a lighter note, I definitely think that AI is going to lead us to an absolutely sort of, again, like new mediums that we could never have imagined, that are experiential, and hopefully not lead to slavery, but lead to joy and bliss.
We have less than a minute yet left. Does anyone else? Oh, yeah, here.
I just wanted to ask how independent AI filmmakers can become involved with Escape AI.
Yeah, I mean, so basically, all you have to do is make yourself known. I mean, we curate, we invite people, but if you're at this conference, it's very likely that your head is in it, right, and that you could be a very good candidate. But we basically you know, we created the community that we did by starting out talking to true pioneers who in kind told us who they admired, who in kind they told us who they admired. So through this kind of casual nomination, we've built a really nice community. And so if you're like orbiting, in which you are, because here we are, you're like 20 feet away. So if you're orbiting this community, there's a very good chance. So just make yourself known. You can contact us through, LinkedIn and through contacts we have on our app.
That's all the time we have today. Thank you for listening, and give it up to John.